Hello guys, so this is test route number 1 for Coventry. There are 15 test routes in Coventry. If you look on your, probably look on the left hand side of the screen, you'll see a blue fence, and that's the test station. So we're not allowed into the test centre while we're not on test, so we're just going to drive past, but all the tests turn left out of the test centre. So that's where we are now. We're just going down the road. This is Bayton Road. All the tests, like I say, turn left, and they all meet the traffic lights at the end of this road. What you can see is there's lots of, you know, it's an industrial estate this, so there's lots of lorries. You may need to give way quite early on to oncoming traffic. You may need to find just your way through, such as there. As we come along this road, yes, weaving around, there you go. You can see the traffic lights at the top of the hill, and we'll be turning left at the traffic lights there. So we're turning left. So this video is one in a series of 15 showing all the recently published test routes from Coventry Test Centre. Coventry Test Centre is actually in Bedworth, which is a bit strange. But here we are, we're on Bayton Road. We're going to turn left at the lights, and that's going to take us into Longford Road. If you want to access the other 14 test routes, just click subscribe. I think there's about 6 up there already, so and there's more being added all the time, so just click subscribe, ring the bell, and away you go. You'll get notified when the next ones come up. As we turn into here, there's usually a traffic queue at this next set of lights here, and today's no exception, although it's not as long as it is normally. We're just going to go straight ahead at these lights. Just leave room for the guy to get into his workstation. There you go. You're very welcome, sir. Having gone straight ahead at those lights, you're going to come down to a roundabout. At the roundabout, we're going to turn left, taking the first exit. Just a bit of advice for future reference: under this bridge, they sometimes put one of those mobile speed cameras there, so just be careful of that as you're coming down here. So we're turning left, first exit at the roundabout, and usually this is pretty clear, and you can just drift on. Always make sure that you're looking to your right though, to make sure it is clear. This is a fairly long stretch. On this one you can see there's lorries trying to pull out in front of us still. It's a kind of industrial part of Bedworth, but now we're coming into more of a kind of residential part. Idea when you get onto this road is just to kind of relax a little bit, let yourself settle down, get into the test, get into your driving. It's just a long straight road. get rid of any kind of anxiety. Through these lights, you can see there's some red lights just over there. It's in the bus lane, and some green lights here. That's just to allow the buses to be able to move off quickly into the traffic. So there's no buses there today, so there's no need for the lights to change. There's a junction on our left where you'll see people try to sneak out of that, so just keep your eye on them. They're fairly well behaved today, so that's fine. Trying to avoid the potholes. In a few moments we're going to be turning left. And that's going to be into Windmill Road. But now the thing here is it looks a fairly standard left turn, but when you get there what you realise is it isn't. It's quite an acute angle, so you have to be quite careful that as you turn left into here that you don't lose position on the road. So a good idea to take it really steady. Lots of steering to do. Hopefully that sun's not blinded you. There we are in Windmill Road. Having come into Windmill Road, you'll be asked to take the next road on the right. Good idea here is to just look for the gaps in the houses, or the gap in the houses, so you can see where that is. It's not really obvious until you get to about here, and there it is. We can see it now. There's a little bit of road works on there at the moment. There's always cars parked near the edge of this road we're turning into, Coventry Road, so it may be that you'll need to steer away from those fairly early on, just like today. So this is Coventry Road, and one thing you'll notice about this road is there's only really room for one car to pass at any one time because of all the cars that are parked kind of on the opposite sides to each other. Also, it's fairly bendy, which means you're going to need to look all the way into the bends and all the way down the roads, because things like this just crop up all the way along here. I'm just giving him lots of room, giving him lots of time to get out and away, and that's fine. That makes it easy for me then, doesn't it, if I've given him lots of room. So again, nice bend in the road here. Hopefully the sun isn't blinding you too much. Certainly blinding me. There you go. So again, it's a fairly long road, but it's very bendy, and it's got all of these parked cars on either side, and you'll be very lucky if you get all the way to the end of it without having to give way to something travelling from the opposite direction. As you get down to here, there's a school. You'll see that on your right, and just after this school, when we get past it, is where our next junction is going to be. So we're going to take the next road on the right. School run here. There you go. So next road on the right. Of course, if you get an early test, you do run the risk of being halfway through the school run. get to the end of this road, we're going to turn right as well. This is Pauline Avenue. It's a fairly busy road, this one that we've turned into here now. And this is Hall Green Road. At the top of this hill there are some traffic lights, and we're going to be turning right at those traffic lights. So we might have to wait in the queue for a few moments, but that's fine. I think the Audi in front of us is also turning right. It's got good position to do that if he is. The lights have changed, so I wonder if we will get through. That was like a little hill start really there, wasn't it? That's quite handy. The lights have turned to red, so it gives us a nice little chance to look at the junction. We're going to be turning into Bell Green Road. You'll see where it says Bearded Barbers over there and Dental Centre. So you should recognise this junction. One thing here is that I think we've got a green arrow. Our red light turns to amber and then a green arrow. And of course we know that a green arrow means that everything else that concerns us will be on red and we can just make the turn. So you shouldn't need to wait in the centre here. Let's just see, the stop-start thing on my car just set itself off. So there you are, there's your green arrow. Everything else is on red, and it means that we can just file round. Here there's a kind of fork in the road now. And we're just going to keep in the left hand side of that and follow this road around. It's nice and easy. Bit of a blind bend. Just taking us along. Next set of traffic lights, we're going to be turning right. Again, that's handy because the lights have turned to red, which means we can have a nice little look at the junction and see what's going on. This time it doesn't look like we've got a green arrow, so we may have to wait in the centre like these guys are doing in front of us. But that's all right, isn't it? No problem with that. We'll just find our space and then wait there. There's a crossing just here. Important then that when these lights go to green, if you are in a queue, that you don't end up stopping on the crossing. So we'll move forward. We'll make sure we clear the crossing completely, like that, and then we'll just bring the car to a nice steady stop, making sure we're out of the way, out of the path of the oncoming traffic. There's a little queue going through here. Can't go yet. Can go now. Okay, so this is Prophet Avenue, and actually, if you want to just get a list of this route, so just a kind of, yeah, just a list of the route. Then if you look in the description box below this video, you'll see it listed out there actually. So if you want to paste and copy that or print it off or whatever you want to do, feel free, I don't care. You can have a real good kind of study of that then, can't you? We're going to turn left here. This is Gaius Street. And the thing about this here is if you look up the road here, you can see that it's quite wide, but then it goes narrow because of the parked cars. And it means that you'll need to, this is a kind of less space, less speed situation really, I suppose you could say. So it's going to take us along here. And then we're going to turn left at the end of this road. So we're turning left at the end of Gaius Street. There's not always a black BMW parked right on the corner. And actually he's moved on now, so lots of people around this time of the morning. As we come around this next bend, what you'll notice is there's a roundabout, and we're going to turn left at the roundabout. So we're going to turn left at this one and then right at the next one. Now, you may get the instruction turn left at the roundabout, then turn right at the next one, or you may just get turn left at the roundabout. If he says just turn left at the roundabout, then you need to come out here and choose the left-hand lane on the new road. But if he says turn left and then right, you're to do this. You come out, move directly into the right-hand lane, and then you're prepared for the next roundabout. So just be careful and listen to the instructions, because they'll be giving you a clue as to where they want you to go next. For this roundabout we're turning right, and this is going to take us onto the A444. And one thing to remember, that all the 15 recently published test routes from the DVSA for Coventry, all 15 taking part of the A444. So we're turning right at it, and if you look at the outer line of this lane, you need to just follow that around, and it will take you all the way out here, and then we're going to turn around and we'll put ourselves into the left-hand lane of the new road as we move into it. That's quite important, because this is a dual carriageway we've turned into now, and if you turn out and you end up in the right-hand lane, then you run the risk of having to move into the left and cutting people up. So it's a good idea to try and get that roundabout right. Okay, so now coming to the next one, we go straight ahead at this one. And according to the road markings, you can perhaps see them now, we need this middle lane on approach. So again, you know, we're quite early in the morning. It's 8:51 at the moment, so you can see that the traffic is quite heavy. But you know, it's no problem as long as you've got yourself into the correct lane first of all, and as long as you just stay in there and don't be chopping and changing lanes, you have no problems at all. We've seen there's been plenty of you know, pedestrians around, with it being school run time, and again actually they've all been behaving themselves quite nicely. And even where people have been manoeuvring their car in the road in front of us, as long as we give them plenty of room, they're not a problem. So again, we're on the A444. We're going up towards the Ricoh Arena, and where the retail park is there as well. You can see the speed limit now is a 50-mile-an-hour zone. These lights are generally on green, not always obviously, because there are people coming out of the retail park there, but there's a good chance that they'll be on green. And as you come down here past the Ricoh Arena, again we're going straight ahead at the next roundabout, and again you need to get into this lane here, so the second one out. And they don't tell you until here that you need this lane, which is they're quite late road markings really, and that's a feature of the test routes around Coventry, so it's a good idea to know the routes, and that's what these videos are all about. Quite easy to get into the wrong lane and having to switch and change lanes, and of course that doesn't help anybody. So this road here, although it looks like it should be quicker, it's still a 50 zone, and you'll see the sign there. This is another place where they like to put speed camera on. The mobile speed cameras. There's a little lay-by coming up. You'll see some lorries are parked in there at the moment, and I have seen a speed camera in there a couple of times, so just be careful. You know, most of the people on this road will be doing more than 50. It's easy to get taken along with the flow and just get kind of snapped because of that. As we come down here though, you can see there's some big green signs, and you'll be asked to follow the road for Nuneaton. If you look at that, you can see that it's actually not the left one, but the next one along, and we can move directly into that because this lane that we're in now just fans out. We can move directly into this lane, into this second one out. So there's a choice of two lanes that go to Nuneaton. We've chosen the left-hand one because when we get into the road, you know, past the roundabout, again it will put us into the left-hand lane in a nice safe position. So this is a big roundabout, and the thing to remember here is once you're in your lane, just stay in it. Just stay in your lane, follow it round, and it will take you off the roundabout quite happily and safely. The lights are never on red for very long, so we'll be ready for them to change. And there they go, and we can move. So if you look at the lane markings as we go through here, so you can see all I'm doing is staying in my lane, not going down the motorway. I'm just staying in my lane. It says A444 on the road, and as we come through here, you can now see that it's brought me off onto the left-hand lane in this new road. This road is a 70-mile-an-hour road. So it's a good idea here just to try and keep up with the traffic. Not trying to keep up with the traffic that's overtaking us, obviously. Just, you know, moving along with the flow here. And you won't get more than 50 or 60 anyway. That's the general speed that people do on this road. And, well, that's quick enough, I suppose. Remember, if there is anything in front of you in your lane make sure that you stay at least 2 seconds behind them in good conditions, 4 seconds if it's wet. So we're going to take the first exit, which is signposted there for Bedworth, and keep the speed up until we get off the carriageway, and then we're going to slow down. So it's important to remember to keep the speed up on the carriageway, and then when you come off, this is called a deceleration lane actually. When you come off the carriageway, then slow down. Okay, we're going to go left here at these roundabouts. Roundabouts, these traffic lights. Arc at me. So as we come down here, you can see it's a bit more sedate. And this is quite a long road. When you come onto this road, what you might find is that 30 miles an hour feels quite slow. And it's easy now just to let the car drift above that 30 miles an hour. And of course you will get penalised for that, particularly at this point where the road dips down. Our traffic lights are on green. We're just going to go straight ahead at these lights. Along here, what you'll notice on your right is there's a big sign with 2 roundabouts right next to each other. I don't know why they design roundabouts like this. People are always asking me, and I really don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, we're going towards Exhall, which is kind of like straight ahead. So it's straight ahead at the first one and then left at the second one. So this first one here, I go straight ahead. Important to treat these 2 roundabouts like you know, separate junctions. Go left at this one. It just takes us down here where we've got the pub on our right, the Cross Keys pub on our right, and we've got the school also on our right. Again, it's school time, so there will be people just moving out in front of you and things like that. But the thing is, just to give them plenty of room, hang well back, just let them get on with their day. Lollipop lady. Here again, this is a 30 mile an hour. I'm doing 30 miles an hour now, and you can see the car ahead of me has sped off, and that's because it looks like, you know, it should be more than 30, even though there's lampposts there. You know, you could say it looks like it should be more than 30, but most people do more than 30 on this road. And the thing here is not to be, again, taken along with the flow. We're now going to turn left. You see where the bollards are. We're turning left into School Lane. There's a little bit of a queue here today, and that'll be because of the temporary lights, probably, as we go up here. So what I'll do is I'll fade this bit out, and we'll come back to it when we get past the temporary lights. Otherwise you'll just be watching a video of me moving up behind a car for the next 5 or 10 minutes, which is no good. So there you are, we're going through the temporary lights now. We're still on School Lane. That took about 5 minutes to get from there to here. We're on School Lane and we're going back towards the test centre, and this is a point where you might realise that, you know, you're coming back towards the test centre, and you might just kind of relax a little bit and just kind of step back. So important here just to keep concentration level really high. At the traffic lights down here, we're going to go straight ahead and that will take us back into Bayton Road where the driving test centre is. It's just a little I'm just cleaning the windows. There's a little water droplet trying to make its way down in front of the lens. I'm just going to get rid of that. That's just typical, that is, isn't it? There. That's just what happens. Okay, so the lights should turn to green in a few seconds. We're in the left-hand lane, as you can see, and we're just going to go straight ahead, and that's going to take us back down into Bayton Road. There we go. There we are, fairly wide road, but lots of lorries. You can see if you look in the distance there, there's a nice big lorry on its way up here. We're just going to give him more room than he actually needs. You're very welcome, sir, thank you. And as well with this one, we're just going to give him more room than he needs. That one didn't thank me though. So as we come down here, you can see as you'll see again on your right, there'll be a blue metal fence and a brick building, a car park in front of it, and actually you can see some learner cars in there now, people turning up for their test, and that's the test centre. And that's the end of test number 1 for Coventry. Like I say, just hit the subscribe button, and eventually all of the tests for Coventry will be on there. Okay, good luck guys.